All right, here we go. We're locked and loaded with another stacked Lakers report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior, coming your way on today's show. Does the offer still stand to complete a trade that would send Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets and John Wall to the Los Angeles Lakers? We also have some juicy trade rumors surrounding Los Angeles that could possibly land them John Collins. As for who Los Angeles would send to Atlanta, yeah, we'll let you know. Also, updated Lakers head coaching odds, as there are a bunch of coaches in the mix as LA continues their head coaching search. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's our goal to get to 44,000 subscribers by the end of the week. We're less than 200 people away, and now that the offseason is here, our coverage has been straight up humming. If you want to stay in the know with all things Lakers, just hit that red subscribe button down below or use that link at the bottom of your screen, youtube.com/LakersTV. We start off with Russell Westbrook and John Wall. A report out there that the Rockets are still willing to engage in trade talks between John Wall and Russell Westbrook. This coming from Keith Smith of Spotrac, who does a great job covering the salary cap aspect of the NBA. He said this: the ideal situation for the Lakers would be to trade Westbrook. There's considerable reporting that Rob Pelinka has a standing offer to send Westbrook to the Houston Rockets for John Wall's nearly matching contract. The catch: LA will have to surrender one of the two tradable first-round picks in 2026, 2027, or 2028 that they have left. The real question: can the Lakers do better in a trade? Now, ideally, the Lakers would be able to pull this move off, maneuvering it without giving up a first-round pick, but that's what you might have to do because Russell Westbrook, an aging player who's still really expensive, and yes, you can say that about John Wall, but there's not much leverage on the side of Los Angeles because we were able to see Russell Westbrook play last year. He didn't play well. We did not see John Wall, and actually right now, I think John Wall might be the better player, but I think there are better options out there than John Wall if you want to deal away Russ, even though those options a little bit slim up to this point. You compare Russ and Wall, and obviously Wall didn't play last year. Russ did, and he played a lot, and he continues to be a very durable player even at this point of his NBA career. 18.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, north of 7 dimes, shot around 44% from the deck, but here's the problem: sub 30% from the three-point line. As for John Wall, last time we saw him coming off a couple of injury-plagued seasons, I thought he was actually pretty solid. Now, like Russ, not the most efficient offensive player, but I think he's a little bit better and has more control of the game, especially when it gets to the end of games. I just think he plays more of a slow style, which I think is important, whereas Russell Westbrook, what makes him great, he's always going for the kill shot, but does not have a great feel for the game and can commit a lot of maddening mistakes and turnovers. So I think that John Wall is the better player. Slim, but I think he is a better player. Who do you think is the better guy? Type R for Russell Westbrook, J for John Wall. If you disagree with me, it's fine. A lot of you hopped in my Twitter mentions the other day slandering me about Anthony Davis. You can continue to do that with this Russell Westbrook-John Wall debate. As for the teams linked to Russell Westbrook, here you go. There are a few of them that still think that Russ can play and could be willing to take on that contract. Charlotte Hornets, the Houston Rockets, Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, all of these teams are in different positions. Some better positioned to win right away. Other teams can serve as a salary dump destination. Other teams may be looking for another star player to move the needle to a certain degree. If I'm Rob Pelinka, if I'm Jeannie Buss, if I'm this front office, which seemingly is bringing back every former Laker coach and executive, I think a Russell Westbrook for John Wall deal should be the last case scenario for Los Angeles. You should look for better options out there. You should look for younger players, more viable assets that help you compete right now, but also in the future. Something to, of course, monitor as we progress throughout the NBA offseason for Los Angeles. Today's show presented to you by Fanatics. They always have awesome deals for all of Laker Nation, like this t-shirt deal. Multiple styles and colors available right now. If you use that link at the bottom of your screen, chatsports.com/Lakers t-shirt. I'm going to put that link in the comment section and the description. I know that LA is coming off a down year, and over the last decade, they haven't made it to the playoffs all that much, as we'll break down at the end of today's show, but 17 NBA championships, honoring this great Lakers franchise. Some of these t-shirts as low as $5. Summertime right around the corner. Get swagged up and swagged out. Chatsports.com/Lakers t-shirt. Once again, that link in the comment section and the description of this video. Could the Lakers pull off a trade for John Collins, the high flyer of the Atlanta Hawks, who's a young and ascending player who signed a big contract last offseason with Atlanta that I actually thought was pretty team-friendly? Now, Bleacher Report put together one trade idea for each NBA team, and this is a bigger trade idea than you might think. Now, yesterday, everybody was shredding me in the comments for saying that I would trade away Bam Adebayo as well as Kendrick Nunn. I would trade away Anthony Davis and Kendrick Nunn for Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson. People thought I was crazy. Do you think this trade idea is crazy from Bleacher Report? Hawks receive Anthony Davis. Lakers receive John Collins, a nice high-flying big man. Kevin Huerter, a good shooter, and a 2023 first-round pick. That first-round pick makes things somewhat interesting because the Lakers don't have a lot of draft capital at their disposal. The AD truthers certainly attacked me on Twitter. They attacked me in the comment section, and they continue to attack me for everything that I've said about Anthony Davis over time. Here's the thing about AD. He's missed a lot of games over time, and I've always said this about Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is one of one. Anthony Davis is a special player. Anthony Davis is a unicorn. That can be true. You know, it can also be true. He's injured every single year, and he has held the Lakers back. You can't disagree with me on that, and if you do, you're lying to yourself. Career stats for John Collins over 5 years, 16.5 points per game, north of 8 boards. He's really good at crashing the glass, and over time, he's become a better three-point shooter over his last 5 years than Anthony Davis, who last year shot sub 20% from beyond the arc. And AD, he also came into last year overweight, and that's a big reason why he continues to get injured. Again, I like Anthony Davis, the player, but him being injured, as he's missed games every single year of his career, and this has been the story for AD throughout the duration of his NBA career, continues to be a problem, and it continues to haunt the Lakers. Again, Lakers have an opportunity with LeBron James playing at an MVP level to compete for championships. They can't compete for championships with Anthony Davis on the sideline. You know that saying, can't make the club from the tub. AD, he's in the tub way too often for me. Now, I would not make this trade, so maybe the AD truthers are going to come to my defense now, but would you make this deal? Let me know in the comments section. Y for yes, N for no. Hey, you know, there's that saying from Drake, jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. Maybe that's the case with these AD haters and truthers out there. I'm kidding. Y for yes, N for no. You don't got to get sensitive. Coming up next on the show, updated Lakers head coaching odds. Some viable candidates continue to interview with Los Angeles, and because of that, the odds makers certainly using that to their benefit. But first, another reminder to subscribe to the channel. Less than 200 people away from getting to 44,000 subscribers to honor the great Jerry West, the logo. He was not happy with how he was depicted in winning time, but we want to make him feel a little bit better by getting to 44,000 subs. If you want the best Lakers coverage on YouTube as well as on Rumble, make sure you hop on board the Lakers Report. Lakers head coaching odds. 10 coaches on this list. How about it? Terry Stotts leading the charge at 2-1 odds, followed by Doc Rivers, Mark Jackson, Darvin Ham, Steve Clifford. Yeah, that doesn't move the needle for me. Dave Vanterpool of the Brooklyn Nets at 7-1, followed by Adrian Griffin, Nick Nurse, Quinn Snyder, and David Fizdale. What does this tell you? Not much, honestly. I don't think the odds makers have a great feel or a good pulse as to who is going to replace Frank Vogel. I do like this list to a certain degree, though. A combination of younger guys, a combination of well-accomplished coaches in the NBA, and a couple of guys who would move the needle in terms of star power in Los Angeles. Now, Jeannie Buss did make it clear that changes will come if this offseason doesn't pan out. What does that mean? Could they move on from LeBron James? Could they move on from Anthony Davis? Would Rob Pelinka get fired? Maybe all of those things could happen because Jeannie Buss, she ain't happy with how things are playing out in the city of Angels. She said this to the LA Times. I'm growing impatient, to Bill Plaschke, he said, just because we had the 4th highest payroll in the league last year. And when you spend that kind of money on the luxury tax, you expect to go deep into the playoffs. So yeah, it was gut-wrenching for me to go out on a limb like that and not get the results that we were looking for. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. Absolutely, if we are not living up to the Lakers standard, absolutely I will look at everything. I will make the hard decisions because that's what you have to do. So I applaud Jeanie Buss for being a competitor, for wanting to get the Lakers brand back on track, for living up to the Lakers standard. Here's the thing, Jeanie Buss, you got to look in the mirror as well. You should be angry, but the Lakers haven't been a good or well-run franchise over the last decade, and you've been leading the charge. So maybe you have to look into the mirror and think about some of the decisions or the decisions that you are and aren't making as far as how you can get back the Lakers to the promised land. Last 10 years, 7 seasons below 500, the Lakers have advanced in the playoffs 1 time over the last decade. Something ain't working. And that was in the NBA bubble when the Lakers ended up winning the championship. And, of course, Jeanie Buss does deserve credit for that. So, too, does Rob Pelinka, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. But over the last decade, this basketball team has not lived up to the aforementioned standard. They have not been good. They've actually been one of the weaker teams in the NBA from a win-loss perspective. And when you advance once in the playoffs, past the first round over a decade span, you got to rework some things, and maybe this offseason is the time that happens. Who do you blame more for the Lakers just being not that great over the last 10 years? F for the front office, C for the coaching staff. Of course, it can be a combination of a couple of factors, but any business out there that is dysfunctional, that is not profitable, who do you blame? You blame ownership. You blame the head honchos, those who are atop the totem pole, and right now, Jeanie Buss atop the totem pole for Los Angeles. Thanks for watching today's show. Get your votes in. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to come after me on Twitter or in the comment section, it's all good. I can take it, and I enjoy chopping it up with all of you.